mitti, marti, soil, earth, whatever you call it, but the farmers, when they pick up a fistful of soil from their hands, it's not about symbolism, it's about life. Life within it and also the life it gives. Saving the soil is most important, and we are joined here by Sadhguru. Thank you so much for joining us here at CNN News 18. And you have embarked on a long, arduous, but fulfilling task of saving the soil across the globe. I know you've been asked this question several times, but when you come and when you meet people, when you meet farmers, are they open to now looking at more innovative, natural ways of saving the soil? Because chemical fertilizer is something which is a major problem when it comes to that, isn't it?
See, if you try to pin the problem on one aspect, then that aspect will push back, because that aspect has saved our lives. Today, if you take away all chemical fertilizer from the planet, all pesticide from the planet, I would say the world's food production could come down to 25% of what it is right now. That is signing a death sentence upon ourselves. This is just like saying, I will naturally be well. I will neither take any vaccination, nor will I take any medicine. I will just be well by myself. Let's see how many people will be alive. So the same thing will happen to soil. So let us not take stands against this or that. The most important thing is, we have conducted our soil unconsciously. Maybe in our eagerness to produce more food for growing populations, we went that way. I see what damage that we have done was a bridge that we created. When we create a bridge to cross a certain problem or a certain chasm of situation, once we cross the problem, we must get down to the ground. If we stay on the bridge forever, we are on a bridge to nowhere. That's what we are doing. See, in 1940s and 50s, we had severe famines in this country. Then we came up with the idea of green revolution. So in this green revolution, pesticides and fertilizers played a significant role. And we made sure from 1960s onwards, there's not been a single famine in the country. We've had bad agricultural years, but never had a famine. So, we crossed that bridge of food scarcity. Today we are a food surplus nation. This is the best time to land from that bridge once again on the land. What is it that makes our life happen? What makes our life happen is the microbial life which is in the soil in trillions and zillions, actually. The same exists in our bodies, because this is the foundational life for all life. Whether you are a worm, insect, bird, animal or tree, microbial life is the most fundamental life for you to thrive and survive. So, in this context, bringing back the soil to its aliveness, treating the soil as a living system is most important. If you treat the soil as an inert substance that you can handle by adding a chemical or taking away a chemical, that's the problem. So this is not against fertilizer, this is not against chemicals, it is just that we must use those things judiciously. You have seen probably images, maybe not in India, in the rest of the world, where pesticides are being sprayed from an airplane, all right? So this is carpet bombing. Now everything in the area dies. We are spraying by hand or machine, whatever. Today as economy grows, you will see bigger machines will come and spray. No, that's not the way. Today we are a technological generation. We must bring in robotics, where insecticides and fertilizers will be applied only in a doctored way, just where it's needed, not spreading it across. And making sure the soil is rich and adding these inputs a little bit will make sure we can grow the food that we need in 1/3 of the land that we are using right now.
But Sadhguru, do you think that using micronutrients, the microbes that are existing within the soils, farmers need to be a little more aware of these things and need to get into more such kind of innovative methods?
This is something that farmers were always aware of. But unfortunately, in the last 35, 40 years' time, that awareness has slid, not that it's totally gone. Even now, if a farmer goes into the land, if it's a new piece of land, before he does anything, he will take it in his hand and try to feel how much life is there. But that awareness has slid to a point where there is serious damage. They're looking for worms and insects to see if it is alive. But worms or insects are a consequence, that is not the foundation. It is microbial life. So what we should do about it, simple thing is to bring cover crops, simple thing is to have substantial amount of green manure and animal waste upon the farm. See, if it has to come from outside, it gets expensive. Once it's expensive, you start using less and less. You will think, a bag of urea will do the job, why should I get all this stuff? So economy is very important. If what we suggest is not economically sensible, it's never going to work. Any amount of teaching, preaching, awareness business is not going to work unless it's economically sensible. This is the significance of Save Soil movement. It's an economic policy with significant ecological impact.
It also helps becoming self-reliant and the country also becoming, in a way, if I can use the word, Atmanirbhar.
Definitely, because see, right now the whole world is talking about food crisis in the rest of the world because there is a war in one country in the world.
Yes.
Because food is supposed to be growing there. Food, basic food must always grow where people are. You can't grow food on the other end of the world and get food to your place. Some exotic things, you want to eat a particular fruit, you can get it from New Zealand or from Timbuktu, it's up to you. But basic food must grow where people are. If that doesn't happen, there is never security for that population.
Right. I would also like to lead into climate change, because there's a lot of talk about climate change. What would be your message to developing countries as well?
See, you must say, everybody must do this, you should do this, Rohini. That is tomorrow or day after, whenever you have time, next weekend maybe. Go out somewhere where land is plowed and left open. When the sun is up, just go and touch the soil. What is its temperature? You don't need any meter, just your hand. Just touch it and see. Go somewhere else where it's covered with grass and weeds, touch it and see what's the temperature. Go under a tree and touch it and see what's the temperature. You will see there will be a difference of 8 to 12 degrees in tropical climates. This is climate change, this is global warming. In India, we are plowing nearly 80% of the land. In the entire world, 54% of the land is seriously plowed. Another 20 to 24% is partially plowed. So nearly 76% of the world's land is plowed. When you plow the land, it is like, I will peel off all my skin and go and stand in hot sun. This is what is happening, the land is screaming. People are not hearing because the sensitivity is gone. What's happening in their heads and their phones is keeping them busy. What is happening to life around us, that sensitivity is not there. It has manifested in many ways. 67% of the vertebrate life on this planet has disappeared in the last 70 years, 67%.
That's a big number.
82% of biomass insects have disappeared. 92% of freshwater aquatic life on the planet has disappeared. This is manifestation. I'm saying every life on the planet is screaming extinction.
Right.
But our population is increasing, so we think everything is fine. No, it's not fine, because we are not the foundational life. It is the microbial life, the insect life, the worm life, and every other life, the plant life, which is the foundational life. If you disturb the foundation and you think economy versus ecology, no. It's economy and ecology are not different. Without ecology, there is no economy. This is like you built a home for yourself. You were living well. Now you had children or whatever, so you wanted to build another extra few rooms on the top. First floor you want to build. Now why go get some material from somewhere? You pull out the foundation stones and build the first floor. You know what will happen to your house.
Collapse.
That's what is happening right now.
It's hurting inside, it's hurting from the inside. Sadhguru, today you drove down Bangalore city. You drove down from Hebbal to the heart of the city.
Right down.
Drive down.
Right down.
Right down. Rode down. I should say.
When you say drive, they think I'm driving a Mercedes or something.
Oh, it's so nice to see you ride on this motorcycle. One thing I'd like to ask you about Bangalore, because it's always in focus, is its infrastructure. Did you come across potholes? Because that is a serious issue in terms of life-threatening issues in terms of Bangalore's infrastructure. Does it? Because it affects.
Fortunately, all the roads that I came, I didn't hit a single pothole.
But it's a problem that
Maybe
we are
it's my fortune.
Well, we only wish everybody has that good fortune over
Yes,
time.
that needs to happen definitely. See, this is why I'm saying why safe soil is important for potholes in Bangalore city.
I was going to connect the two.
I'll come. See now, it is estimated by 2032, 220 million people in rural India will migrate to urban India. So Bangalore's share should be easily 30 to 40 million out of this, or 50 million, I don't know. You think you can build roads and infrastructure for that many extra people in 10 years' time? Do you believe that?
It's not possible.
Not possible. What is it that'll keep rural people in their homelands? Is their land must be productive. There must be good livelihood for them. So one important thing is to have trees on the land. Fortunately now Karnataka government has even cleared sandalwood. We've been working to clear all the species. Let the farmer grow whatever he wants, it should belong to him, not to the government, all right? This must happen. Even now across the country, there are still colonial laws where if farmer grows certain things, it must go to the government. Illegal things, leave it, you ban it. Whatever is legal, anything that a farmer grows, even if he strikes gold or oil in his land, must belong to him. You can tax it if you want. Except civilizational aspect, you dug and you found Harappa Mohenjo-daro kind of thing, then the government can take over the land and compensate him. But if I strike oil in my land, why doesn't it belong to me? If I find gold in my land, why doesn't it belong to me? It should belong to me. You can tax me. If I grow gold in my land, it should belong to me. Right now, sandalwood is like gold. So because you did not allow him to grow, you are importing sandalwood from Australia. How ridiculous is it? Right from ancient times, our poets have been singing about the beauty of this land and how the most precious trees grow here. Sandalwood is mentioned everywhere, but now we are importing sandalwood from Australia. That is a shame. Fortunately, this government has taken steps to correct that. We must do this. If there are valuable trees on the land, those rural people are not going to end up in Bangalore city. They will stay there because it's wealth.
Right. Because farmer is king, and that's something that we need to also say that again and again. Though we do feel they're just not providers. They're in their own way, they have their own rights, they have their own… And I would like to take in a little bit more, because you're a wise man, you're a learned man, something again what Bangalore is being affected, and this is because this is in the news, in terms of morality, in terms of children and finding different kinds of material in their bags, school bags. Now let me talk about alcohol. They have found contraceptives, they have found other things which are for young children between the age of 8 to 10. What is your advice to youngsters, especially at a time when everything has its own age and time? Is this the fear of missing out?
See, you always invent these kind of words, FOMO, this one, that one, nonsense. That's not the point. If you start drinking at 20, your child, you expect him to drink at 15.
Okay.
Inevitably it'll happen. Whatever values and morals you may have, if they have seen you smoking and drinking and living a certain kind of life, he will graduate sooner than you, because our children are supposed to be one step ahead of us, always. So it is very important, instead of simply being shocked about something, every parent, every school setting the right kind of example, not right kind of teaching. Your teachings, philosophies, preachings will not go anywhere. Setting the right kind of example is very important. If you don't do that, you think children can be just grown because you invest so much money for them. No. A human child is like this, unless you nurture at every level, it tends to go wrong.
Right. What would you like to tell that one parent and that one teacher who takes care of children?
I would like to tell them, if you decide to have children, you must understand it's a 20-year project. That is if they do well. If they don't do well, it's a lifelong project. If you're not ready for such a project, don't do it. because it's a certain responsibility. Your children are not just your emotional nonsense. Your children are not just about your reproduction. Your children means you are manufacturing the next generation.
Yes.
How the world will be tomorrow is determined by how you nurture your child today.
I would like to come back to the point of what you were talking about. We are living in a noisy world of social media, where we have so much of pressure that is coming. How does one find peace and solace in that, especially?
See, we are complaining about every advantage that we have. Social media means you can reach the world with whatever you have. That is a problem. Phone is a problem. Television is a problem. Everything is a problem. Everything that's given to you as a blessing, you make a problem out of it. So what is… the problem is, right now you are in an unconscious, compulsive and instinctive reaction to life. Without human beings becoming conscious, this level of intelligence and competence is always going to be a disaster unless we employ this consciously. If you are an instinctive reaction, you should have been an insect or a worm or some other creature.
Right.
Once you become a human being, this intelligence and this capability can only be managed well if you manage it consciously and employ it consciously. Then it'll work for your benefit and everybody's benefit. Thank you.
Sadhguru, I'd like to come back to G20 because of Save the Soil, because the kind of message, as G20's motto is Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam, and we are talking about a very important issue of Save the Soil. What should India's role be, especially in G20?
Already the Bali edition of G20 has taken this commitment that by 2040 they want to reduce the degraded lands on the planet by 50%, which is significant.
Right.
Now it's coming in our hands. Definitely India, we will make sure, as citizens we will make sure, and I'm sure the government is willing in this direction. We must make sure this agenda, fulfillment of this agenda, the first few steps across the world must be taken in this year so that it will continue, because first step in the right direction is the most important step. Fortunately, it's in our hands. As Indians, we must make it happen.
I will end this interview with one last question, because you held the football in your hand. I want to ask you which side you take. Who will you be supporting in football? Because football unites the world, it brings the world
Yes,
closer.
that's why I am for football.
I know that is going to be your answer, but you will have to take a choice. Who do you think is a good country who's doing well, and which would you maybe…
Well, a few nations have displayed a certain capability. Of course, everybody is looking for Brazil to come up with their own samba at the right time. France is playing very well, they are the reigning champions and they have some superstars there who can make a difference. Argentina, everybody is hoping because Lionel Messi is there. Of course, Ronaldo is in the shadows right now, but he could burst forth any time. There are many other teams. Spain is a fantastic team, and I think till now what's happened in my… because I don't look at the game in terms of score, I look at the game in terms of the quality of the game. I think Spain has played a spectacular game, but they don't have a superstar in the front. But on a given day, just anybody can win, because you cannot say this is a game. It just needs at the given day who takes those chances, who does that stuff. That is why it's a game. It is not a prediction. Nobody should predict who will win. Then you're destroying the game.
Absolutely.
Because knowing the end result of the game means you don't know how to enjoy the game.
Well, end of the day, it's all about passion, it's about bringing things together, it's about the belief of being one world, and that's what every movement that is taken out in this world is for, and Save Soil is exactly like that. Thank you so much for talking to us, and this is what we have in terms of what Sadhguru has to say to the viewers of CNN News 18. Thank you so much. This is Rohini Swami.
Namaskar.